Happy Fall, Greenville. We are going to go over all of the activities and events that we have coming up this October. So I want you to get out your planners, get out your papers, your pencils, your calendars on your phone, unless you're watching it on your phone, and mark down all of these things, all of these events that we have coming up, because we don't want you to miss a thing. All right, you got your stuff, you ready to write it down? Good deal. Okay, so our biggest thing that we have coming up in October, a big event that GCC has, is our Fall Festival. And this year, our Fall Festival is going to fall on the 28th, which is a Saturday, from 2 to 4 p.m. And we know that Halloween is a little scary, and we want to provide a safe place for your kids to come and just have fun. A family-friendly event for your kids. So we want you to be inviting to this event, and we're going to need your help with some things with this event as well. We need volunteers, and we'll talk about that here in just a minute, but I want you to mark your calendars for the 28th for our Fall Festival. We'll have a trunk or treat. We're going to have opportunities for people to come into the church, and we're going to have activities and games for them to come in and maybe even learn a little bit while they're here and having lots of fun about who this Jesus guy is. So you don't want to miss out on that, to invite people to that. But it's going to be such a fun time, a safe time for your kids, for your families to attend to. We are going to ask at this event that you don't wear any scary costumes. We want this to have all the fun, but none of the scary when it comes to this time of year. So you can dress up, but let's dress up in things that aren't going to be scary for any of our kids, any of our families, as we gather and have a good time together. We are going to need different things from you guys from a volunteer standpoint. If you're wanting to help us out with our Fall Festival, this is going to be open to our community, our entire community of Greenville and beyond, outside of Greenville, that are going to come to this. We've had hundreds and hundreds of people come, so what a great way to serve one another. We're going to be sending some information on how to volunteer for the trunk or treat and to volunteer in the different ways. We're going to send that information out to you in the future, but we'll get that to you as soon as we can. But be thinking about how you want to help serve. So we got trunk or treat that you could help with, actually having a car in that. You can bring candy, and then the last thing would be is to help us with our stations that we're going to have in the church. We're going to have different games and things going on that we would need some people to help facilitate. You might have a leader and then a helping hand. So that's another way that you can serve. And we're going to tell you how to do that as we move forward in this month. But first thing that you guys need to do is mark your calendars and start inviting today for our Fall Festival on the 28th. You don't want to miss out on that. It's going to be so much fun. A lot of ways to serve our community, and you don't want to miss out on that. So now I'm going to get into some more of our routine events and activities that we have coming up, but I just wanted to make sure we started off with our big one. So now moving on, GCC Gives Back. This is our ministry that we have that serves our community, whether that's around here in Greenville, but even beyond that, outside of Greenville. And we've done lots of different things with GCC Gives Back, but one of the biggest things that we do is collect food and goods and hygiene products for the homeless. You should know this by now. We've got these cards that you can take. You can take these home, put it on your refrigerator. It tells you specifically the kinds of things that we can take to give out to the homeless, because there are some rules that we have to adhere to, things you might not think about as far as what we can provide, what's easy for them to open, to have easy access to, all the kinds of things like that. So we always need you guys to help and continue bringing items for the homeless community as we collect items. So that's one way that you can help with GCC Gives Back. But another way that you can help is through our packing days. And we have one coming up in October. This month it's going to be on the 7th at 11 a.m. So if you're wanting to help with that, you can come to the church and gather with our group that does that on a routine basis, led by Melissa Martin, who's amazing. You can reach out to her and get some more information on it, but you'll just gather together and she'll kind of lead you guys as you pack up all the items and get them organized so that we can then serve them directly to those folks. So if you're interested in serving in any kind of way with the GCC Gives Back ministry, talk to Melissa. She's amazing. She's so much fun to work with, and she can help you as you kind of navigate how you and your family want to help. But as always, keep collecting items, bring them to the church, help us with our packing days, mark your calendars for the 7th if you're wanting to help with that packing day this coming month. Next thing that we have on our list are our Wednesday night Bible studies. These Bible studies are going to be on Wednesday night starting at 7, and we're going to have those on October the 4th and October the 18th this month. So these actually fall on the 1st and the 3rd weeks of the month. So mark your calendars, 1st and 3rd weeks. That's going to be the 4th and the 18th, both starting at 7. You can come here, gather together. We kind of enjoy some yummy desserts, we fellowship, and then we open up the Word and have a good time doing so and learning about who God is, learning more about His character. These stories aren't just stories. This is history. This is stuff that we want to have written in our hearts and understand more deeply. Even if it's something we've heard before, we want to dive in deeper. The Word is alive, and so there's always something more that we can learn. So don't miss out on those Bible studies on Wednesday nights, the 1st and 3rd Wednesdays of the month. And then on the off weeks, so when we're not having Bible study, we're going to have our living groups, which are like small groups. We gather in different places, different homes, and we can sometimes dive in deeper to the sermons that we had the past Sunday, or sometimes we go over a completely different topic. But the main thing that we're trying to do is have a smaller, more intimate group of people that we can do life together, hold each other accountable, encourage one another, and lift each other up. And we have a few groups that meet on various days. You can always check out our All-In board to see that. On Sundays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays, we have different groups that meet in different locations. So you got to figure out what group is going to work best for you in your schedule. You can even go to multiple groups, and that's fine as well. But if you're interested in joining a group, you need to come to our All-In board and grab one of these cards. It has the information of our hosts. It talks about where and when they meet, and it has their contact information on there so that you can grab this and call them to see how you can join in. So that's a great way to get connected with the church if you've been trying to figure out how to do that. You don't want to miss out on an opportunity for deeper connection with your church family. And then lastly, this is kind of forward thinking here. We're getting out of October and going a little bit into November, but it's at the start of November, so I don't want you to miss it. I just want you to mark your calendars for November the 4th for our bonfire and chili cook-off. This is always a great time as we gather at the Despain's home that graciously hosts us. We get to have a whole bunch of chili, which I'm so ready for. We have a little competition with chili, and we get to hang out by the biggest bonfire you have ever seen in your entire life. We have s'mores and hot cocoa, hang out. The kids have a blast. I always have to drag my kid out as he does not want to leave, but it's a great time of fellowship as well. So that's starting in November, okay? That's going to be November 4th, but it's the start of November, so I don't want you to miss it. So go ahead and mark your calendars. So that's what we have going on church-wide. Okay, so I don't want to miss out on any of that. But now I'm going to just go into our youth events with our merge group. That's middle school and high school. As always, they have their Friday night lights that meet on Friday nights, and they do that at the Brown's home. So Debbie and Andrew Brown host that at their home, and they have different times where high school will just meet, middle school and high school will meet together, and they're very good at communicating when those weeks are and how that goes. Sometimes they do special events where they may not meet at the home and may go do something, or sometimes they just have a hangout day and they go play in the pool and they do volleyball and stuff like that, play games, and they dive into the Word together. Sometimes they do worship together. I mean, it looks different every single time, but one thing that stays constant is that they have a safe place to go with a community, people their own age that believe the same things they do, and that is something they never want to miss out on. So if you have a student, you have a middle schooler or a high schooler that has not started going to Friday Night Lights, I'm telling you, you want to get them involved with that group. They are thriving and growing, not only as a community, as a group of friends, but they are growing and diving deeper into the Word, and you don't want to miss out on that. Next thing would be their MAC, which is Merge After Church. They do this monthly, and it's right after service, and for the month of October, it's going to fall on the 8th. So on the 8th, immediately after service, the students will stay in the youth building, and they get to have pizza and hang out, play games, just have a good time with one another. And that goes from immediately after service to 1:30. So parents or guardians, you would need to come get your kids at 1:30 after MAC is done. But that's another great way for these kids to get connected with one another, not only with one another, but also with their mentors, the different youth leaders of the youth group as well. So don't miss out on those things. We have the MAC, and then we have Friday Night Lights, so don't miss out. So I'm going to recap on all of the things for October, because I know if you're marking your calendars, you don't want to miss anything if you're wanting to get connected, if you want to serve or volunteer for the month of October. So first thing, Fall Festival, October 28th. Invite, 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 okay? If you're wanting to volunteer, we're going to get the information out to you and your families on how to volunteer with a trunk or treat option, bringing your car and decorating it and all those kinds of things, or helping us out at one of our activity game stations. We will be sending that out to you very, very soon. But one thing that you can be doing in the meantime is collecting candy or brainstorming with your family on which one you want to do, or if there's a way that we can do both, we can see what we can do there. But mark your calendars, October 28th from 2 to 4, we're going to have our Fall Festival. Next thing, GCC Gives Back Packing Day is going to be on the 7th at 11 here at the church. Continue to pack and bring things for our homeless community. You can grab a shopping list there if you need to know what to bring, but then you can help us pack up on the 7th. We have Wednesday night Bible studies at 7 p.m. Okay, 7 p.m. on Wednesday nights, the first and third weeks, which will be on the 4th and then the 18th of October. And then on the off weeks, the second and fourth weeks, we have our living groups that meet on Sundays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. So you get to choose one of those days, one of those locations, whatever works best for you. And then lastly, going into November, we have our bonfire and chili cook-off on November the 4th. Now, for Merge in middle school, high school, we've got our Friday Night Lights every single Friday, except for the 5th Friday of the month. They take a break on the 5th Friday, but the first 4 Fridays of the month, they're going to meet. Debbie is extremely good about communicating if there's ever any changes to that schedule, so make sure that you get on her contact list or talk to Ryan Suchek. He's our youth leader with that. Or we have our MAC, so you can go to both or one or the other, but MAC is Merge After Church. That's going to be on the 8th after service. So that's all that we have going on in October. A lot of fun things as we're getting into these fall months that you don't want to miss out on. I hope to see you and your families there. A way that you can always stay connected with our church and making sure you don't miss any of these events is to get connected with our text service. You can also come to the All-In board for all of the information that you need on the events coming up, ways to get connected with our small groups, our living groups, or with our Wednesday night Bible studies, GCC Gives Back, serving, whatever, it's all here. We've got the text, we've got social media, we've got our website, you name it, we've got it. You can always email us if you have any questions or concerns about anything that we have going on. But we want to see you at all of these events this October, this fall, as we're going into these kind of cooler months. We've got lots of fun things coming up, lots of ways to serve one another, to dive in deeper into the Word with one another and fellowship with one another. So I hope to see you there. I love you guys. Have a wonderful week. God bless.